Was Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death a tragic twist of nature, or was he silenced for speaking truths that hit too close to power? The Cosby Show legend, forever etched in our hearts as Theo Huxtable, passed away at 54 in Costa Rica, with officials saying a rip current took him under. But whispers from his family, fans, and corners of the internet paint a murkier picture, one that's got people asking if there's more to this story. Just 2 days before he was gone, Malcolm dropped a podcast episode that cut deep, redefining Black excellence as survival itself. Was it just him being real, or was he leaving a clue? Let's unpack it all, from the facts to the shadows, and you tell me what you think in the comments. Malcolm-Jamal Warner wasn't just a kid who got lucky on TV. Born August 18, 1970 in Jersey City, New Jersey, he was raised by his single mom, Pamela Warner, who spotted his talent early and enrolled him in a performing arts school in New York City. By 9, he was chasing acting gigs, landing small roles on shows like Matt Houston and Fame. Then, at 13, he auditioned for The Cosby Show on the last day of a nationwide search. Bill Cosby himself picked him to play Theodore "Theo" Huxtable, the only son in a family of 5 kids, navigating life under the sharp but loving eyes of Cliff and Claire Huxtable. The show, running from 1984 to 1992, wasn't just a sitcom, it was a cultural juggernaut. It showed a Black family that was educated, affluent, and universal, yet unapologetically Black with their jazz, art, and style. Malcolm's Theo was the heart of it, a teen whose struggles with school, girls, and identity felt real to millions. He nabbed an Emmy nomination in 1986 for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series, a nod to his ability to blend humor with depth at just 16. The Cosby Show wasn't just TV. It reshaped how America saw Black families. Malcolm told CBS Pittsburgh in 2023, "That show had such an impact on the culture here in America, but also a global impact on how Black people saw ourselves globally and how the rest of the world saw us." He wasn't wrong. The Huxtables were aspirational yet relatable, tackling universal family issues with a Black lens. Theo's moments, like his clash with Cliff over grades or hiding an ear piercing, became iconic, etched in the memories of Gen X kids and their parents. Malcolm said in a 2023 People interview, "Prior to The Cosby Show, Black sitcom humor was predicated on being Black, the specificity of the Black experience. Though the Huxtables were clearly Black, reflected by their dress, the Black art on the walls, the music, the family issues were universal." That balance made the show a landmark, and Malcolm carried its legacy with pride, even as Bill Cosby's later controversies cast a shadow. He told the Associated Press in 2015, "My biggest concern is when it comes to images of people of color on television. We've always had The Cosby Show to hold up against that." Malcolm didn't rest on Theo's laurels. After The Cosby Show, he starred in Malcolm Eddie from 1996 to 2000, a UPN sitcom where he played Malcolm McGee, a straight-laced mechanic roped into his buddy Eddie's wild schemes. The show, co-starring Eddie Griffin, ran 89 episodes, blending sharp comedy with real talk about friendship and ambition. He directed over a dozen episodes, showing his knack for storytelling behind the camera. Then came Read Between the Lines from 2011 to 2015, where he played Alex Reed, an English professor married to Tracy Ellis Ross's psychologist character. The BET sitcom echoed The Cosby Show's vibe, showing Black love and family with modern flair. Malcolm's dramatic chops shone in roles like A.J. Austin in The Resident, 2018-2023, Julius Rowe in Suits, and Al Cowlings in The People vs. O.J. Simpson, American Crime Story. He even voiced the producer on the Magic School Bus for over 40 episodes, guiding kids through science with his cool, steady vibe. But Malcolm was more than an actor. He was a musician, winning a 2015 Grammy for Best Traditional R&B Performance for his contribution to a cover of Stevie Wonder's Jesus Children of America with Robert Glasper Experiment and Lala Hathaway. His 2022 spoken word album, Hiding in Plain View, earned a Grammy nod for Best Spoken Word Poetry Album, a testament to his poetic depth. He performed at the National Black Theater Festival's Poetry Jam since 2003, weaving words that hit the soul. He told Forbes Players Only, "Calm in 2015, the bass chose me because as a kid, the bass was always the thing that resonated with me. Starting at 26 during Malcolm Eddie, he picked up the bass, channeling his love for music into funk and jazz." His 2003 EP, The Miles Long Mixtape, and 2007 album, Love Other Social Issues, showed his range, blending rhythm with raw emotion. His latest passion was Not All Hood, a podcast launched in May 2024 with Woozy Baraka and Candace Kelly. It was a space to unpack Black life, mental health, identity, and the myths the media loves to push. Malcolm told People before the debut, "When we talk about the Black community, we tend to speak of it as a monolith when the reality is there are so many different facets, and we wanted a space to explore, discuss, and acknowledge all of those." He called it a place to be as vulnerable as I allow myself to be, a rare glimpse into his heart. The podcast wasn't just talk. It was a mission to redefine how Black stories are told, challenging the hood stereotype with nuance and truth. Now, let's get to what happened. On July 20th, 2025, Malcolm was vacationing with his wife and 8-year-old daughter at Playa Grande, near Cocles in Costa Rica's Limón province. It's a stunning beach popular with tourists and surfers, but it's got a dark side, rip currents that can drag even strong swimmers out to sea. Around 2:10 p.m., Malcolm was body surfing when a current grabbed him. Bystanders pulled him to shore, and the Costa Rican Red Cross tried CPR for over 20 minutes, but he was declared dead. The OIJ confirmed his cause of death as asphyxia by submersion after an autopsy on July 22nd. A second man, a 29-year-old Nicaraguan who tried to save him, was hospitalized in critical condition but later discharged. Police ruled it an accident, no foul play. His body was released to a funeral service hired by his family, and that's the official line. But Playa Grande's got a history. It's littered with red flags and signs in English and Spanish warning about drowning risks. Andrea Sanchez Campos, a local hotel owner, told the New York Times the sea was unusually rough and brownish that day, with strong currents leaving Pottinger debris on the beach. The beach is a surfer's paradise because of those waves, but it's also a death trap. About 50 people drown in Costa Rica's rip currents yearly, many tourists. The Caribbean Guard, a volunteer lifeguard group, wasn't patrolling due to resource issues. After Malcolm's death, they suddenly found the funds to send patrols back. Why not before? And why is the timeline so shaky? How long was he in the water? Who helped first? The OIJ said he was swept away by a current, but details are thin, and that's where things start feeling off. Here's where it gets weird, the silence from the scene. Playa Grande isn't a hidden cove. It's packed with tourists, locals, and surfers on a Sunday afternoon. Yet there's no video, no photo, not even a detailed post on X about what went down. In 2025, where everyone's got a phone, that's hard to swallow. Sure, maybe people were too busy helping or didn't want to exploit a tragedy, but nothing? Not a single blurry clip or a beachgoer's tweet? X posts usually explode with celebrity news, yet all we've got are vague reports and TMZ breaking the story. ARTMZ tweeted on July 21st, Malcolm-Jamal Warner has died in Costa Rica at the age of 54, TMZ has learned. No eyewitness accounts followed. That quiet's got people raising eyebrows, wondering if something's being kept under wraps. Then there's the family's stance. Rumors are swirling that they're not buying the official story. Word is they're considering a private investigator to dig into Malcolm's final moments, convinced the details, vague timelines, unclear rescue efforts don't add up. Some whispers, unconfirmed, suggest they think he was targeted, maybe even poisoned before hitting the water. Now let's be clear, there's no evidence for this. No toxicology report mentions anything suspicious, and police are firm on the accident ruling. But the family's doubts, shared quietly behind the scenes, keep the questions alive. Why would they push back if everything felt right? What's got them so uneasy? These rumors, while unproven, fuel the fire of suspicion. The real spark for these theories is Malcolm's final Not All Hood episode, dropped July 18th, 2025, just 2 days before he passed. He sat with co-host Candace Kelly and guest Tamika Georgia Mee Harper, getting real about Black excellence. He said, "Black excellence now is attributed to fame and money, so that's been my issue with it. But now when I'm looking into the story, Black survival in of itself is Black excellence." He talked about the uneven playing field Black people face, how mustering every resource, spiritual, relational, political, just to survive is what makes Black culture rich. Everything that we have to muster in is what makes us rich as Black people, he said. Fans are replaying those words, wondering if they were a warning. Was he calling out powerful forces? The timing, 48 hours before his death, feels too close to ignore. Some see it as a final statement, maybe even a goodbye. Online, the theories are wild. X posts are buzzing with fans connecting dots to other Black figures who spoke out and faced sudden ends. One user wrote, "Malcolm was too real, just like Nipsey Hussle. They don't want us speaking truth." Another said, "No lifeguard, no video? Something's fishy about MJW's death." These echo broader fears about outspoken voices like Nipsey, gunned down in 2019 while pushing Black ownership, or Dave Chappelle, who ditched a $50 million deal in 2005 over industry control. The Competitor's transcript mentions Martin Lawrence's 1996 breakdown, where he screamed about being targeted, and Angie Stone's recent death, tied to vague claims of industry secrets. These stories are unverified with no direct link to Malcolm, but they feed a narrative. Speak too loud and you might pay a price. Still, there's no proof. No poison, no shady figures caught on camera. The theories thrive because the official story feels incomplete. The beach itself is another red flag. Playa Grande's dangers were no secret. Red flags everywhere, signs warning of rip currents. Yet no lifeguards? The Caribbean Guard's no resources excuse feels weak when you consider the beach's history. Post-incident, they rushed patrols back like they were covering tracks. Timelines are messy too. How long was Malcolm in the water? Who pulled him out? Reports say bystanders rescued him, but the second man, who tried to save him, remains unnamed. He was discharged from a Le Mans clinic, but his story's locked down. Was he a random hero, or does he know more? These gaps aren't proof of a conspiracy, but they keep the mystery alive. Malcolm's legacy is what makes this hurt deeper. He wasn't just Theo. He was a trailblazer who dodged the child star curse. He told the Archive of American Television in 2013, "My proudest achievement is being able to have a post-Cosby life and career and still have my head on straight." He kept his family private, shielding his wife and daughter, but gushed about them on Hot Bothered in 2025. "They're the best parts of my life, the best decisions I ever made." His love was clear, like when he posted on Instagram weeks before his death, sporting a Dodgers cap with a daffodil his daughter gave him, saying, "No matter what's going on, there's always a reason to smile." That positivity, paired with his bold truth-telling, made him a king to many. Hollywood's reeling. Angela Bassett, who worked with him on 911 and American Horror Story, called him a special soul whose empathy and bright light shone through. Wendell Pierce, who did Shakespeare with him, said, "He demonstrated the best in our humanity." Morris Chestnut, his The Resident co-star, wrote, "Working alongside him was an honor. He brought depth, warmth, and wisdom." Raven Simony called him the big brother, while Eddie Griffin mourned his big little brother. Even Bill Cosby, via his rep, compared Malcolm's loss to his son Ennis's murder in 1997, a gut punch of a tribute. Fans on X are pouring out love, one posting, "Malcolm was a real one." "Theo was our brother, and his work kept it 100. Another said, "His podcast was speaking truth, RIP MJW." So where does this leave us? The official story says Malcolm was taken by a brutal current on a beach known for its dangers. But the silence from the scene, the family's rumored doubts, and that haunting podcast keep the questions burning. Was it just a tragic accident, or did his voice, fearless, unfiltered, challenging, make him a target? Rumors of a private investigation linger, but nothing's confirmed. The truth's out there, buried under murky details and missing pieces. What do you think went down? Was this nature's cruelty, or something darker? Drop your thoughts below, because Malcolm's voice shook the system. And voices like that don't just fade, they echo, demanding answers.